All right, so I'm sitting here today with photographer Joe Lester, who I've known for some time now, and I have some questions to ask you. But before we get started, I wanted to ask you about these bracelets that you're wearing right now.
So, um, this day and age, these little kids, they like these looms.
Right.
And so Alexis made me a nice little black and white loom bracelet. And then I had my nephew, or soon-to-be nephew-in-law, make me a purple and gold one to represent the Lakers and the Qs.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, my kid, he's doing those bracelets too, those looms, and it's. I mean, we did stuff like that. We had these linear things we used to make. I remember we had toggles that we would collect. Yeah, so.
That's cool.
But yeah, so anyway, so we've, like I said, known you for a long time. We've become friends, and I even consider you a best friend now.
July of 07.
Yeah, it's been since 07.
I know exactly when it was, so.
He knows our anniversary, right?
Can't tell you the date right off here. I can look it up.
So, but I think I remember the event. It was an event that we met, right? What event?
It was a fashion show. I don't remember which one it was. It was at SLU.
Okay, so that would have been the Face Off fashion show, I believe.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Right. And
yeah, that was the one I think Ronnell proposed to. Not Ronnell. Sherelle's.
Yeah, Sherelle.
Yeah.
She was. What was her last name then? I can't think of what it is now. But Sherelle. Yeah,
Hall.
she was. Yeah, Sherelle Hall. It was proposed to by her then fiance or boyfriend, and I think the way I recall it was that we were. Just like any time I go anywhere and I see like photographers or people with cameras, I'm kind of checking them out, trying to see what they're shooting with. And, I see this guy with the 5D. And it's like, here's a photographer with a 5D. He must be pretty serious. I believe he had an L lens on it, or like the 2470 or the 1700 or something like that. And then, you do the thing where you kind of like start picking your mind, and asking like, yeah, so, what do you do? And,
Right.
What do you think of that lens? It's kind of trying to see where they are
Right.
as far as, the knowledge, I guess, it's just.
And then you're like, oh, wait, you work at AT&T?
Yeah.
Work at AT&T.
Yeah, then it was the AT&T thing,
Yeah.
And so we quickly kind of realized that we had a lot in common. So, what do you think has changed since then for you, as far as, or how were you as a photographer back then?
A lot has changed since then. Back then, I would just shoot and pray.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, I would shoot a whole lot of pictures and hope that I could get 3 or 4 good ones without any real forethought, because I had no foundation. I didn't read the books on the fundamentals and the theory behind photography. All I did was just go out there and go at it. And actually, since meeting you, I mean, most of my fundamentals came from knowing you. You were reading the books.
Right.
You were the one that got me to stop tilting the camera so much. The killer tilt.
Don't tilt your camera. So if you're taking a picture, don't do like that. You take a picture.
Yeah,
you just.
There's no place in a magazine slot for a tilted image, especially if the legs are tilted sideways onto the frame. No place for it. So I mean, I think from then, then I over edited a lot. I tried to correct everything in Photoshop almost to a flaw. I just recently found a bunch of old pictures, and I'm just wishing I could go back and redo them, just because I shot them in JPEG. And then I edited the living daylights out of the pictures. Mm-hmm. And now I'm keeping them the way they are, so they're forever a constant reminder of where I came from, photos, photography wise. It's kind of like I have my very first 2 shoots still, at least in their finished format, sitting on my computer now as a reminder.
Okay. Someone is texting me, rudely interrupting. So, and it's gonna ding again as a reminder in 1 minute. So we'll just ignore it the second time. So now, when we first met, though, if I recall, were you even shooting manual or?
When we first met, I was shooting manual, but not raw.
Okay, right. I remember it was. It was one or the other. And
but see, I mean, when we met, I was kind of looking at you because you had the big, the whole flash rig going on.
Right.
You had the gear strapped to your waist. I don't remember what you had going on, but I was like, this dude came.
Yeah.
He came to do some work for real.
I had a flash bracket. The what's it called? Custom brackets, flash bracket, the big sliding thing, and this big. Oh goodness. And yeah, I would have had wires hanging off of me and something.
You had the battery pack.
The battery pack on my belt, and I was very ambitious. Well, as a young photographer, and I didn't want to mess up. I remember looking at that event as if I'm gonna be able to meet a lot of different designers, up and coming designers, and all these models are gonna be there. I want these pictures to look great,
right.
And I was happy with those pictures. And I remember, I think, we probably got to work, the next weekend and probably sent some cues and, Q is our company's instant message system. And I probably, we probably compared like the pictures from the fashion show. And I was like, oh, those pictures came out good. And for whatever reason, I don't remember what happened in between that time. But the next thing I remember is that we were out on Washington Avenue doing a photo shoot for the next show, fashion show, whatever's coming up next. That's the only thing I remember. I might be, am I misplacing something, or is that something that happened after that? Like,
something
how did we end
that.
up working together?
Fashion Fusion happened in.
We just immediately went to Fashion Fusion?
I feel like that was September of that year that we did the first Fashion Fusion.
Okay.
Because we got to talking about doing some kind of joint, mass mega photo shoot thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when we got Paul and Sarah signed on or whatever. And then, we got it set up at the She Salon.
Right.
I can't find those pictures though. Any of them. I can find the final images that were on the site, like yours.
Right. I think I still have those.
But I can't find the original. I think they were lost in a great pair of hard drive crash of 2011.
Yeah, I know I lost a lot in my hard drive crash of 2000 whenever, but I know I definitely have all the images from the second Fashion Fusion. Fashion Fusion is this kind of super shoot thing where we got a bunch of photographers and models, and we got makeup artists and hairstylists. A lot of people just were involved, and we just shot all day. Just to bring people together.
Right.
It wasn't really a big money-making event.
Basically covered what, the food for the day?
Right. That might have been what we wanted, but we couldn't figure out how to actually get people to come at a high cost. But it did begin some good relationships, not only between us, but between a lot of other the hairstylists and makeup people, and I kind of got the ball rolling, because before then, we were using, at least I was using Model Mayhem. Is that how you found most of your clients, or?
No, man. I didn't get on Model Mayhem till well late in the game. I think initially I was on MySpace.
Okay.
I would just look for
MySpace. Shout out to MySpace.
Right. Shout out to the oldies. I would just look for, semi-attractive people. I just search. I'd browse and put stats in and search and look for the, semi-attractive people and just ask them, can we do these photos? I'll give you the pictures. I was not familiar with the phrase time for print, time for CD, any of that. I was just like, shoot the photos. I'll give you whatever you want. I can't pay you, but I'll give you whatever you want if you let me basically practice on you.
So it was the same thing.
You know, so it's the same concept.
Even though you didn't know the term for it, but you knew this was the best way to get things moving.
Right.
And so, compared to now, I would imagine you don't find a lot of clients on MySpace anymore. How do you come across some of the clients that? What are some of the clients that? I'll just name a few that you've worked for.
Well, we got the Martin Luther King National Memorial Project that we had. That was with Cedric the Entertainer. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of stuff with Icon Fashion. Rest in peace to Sean Williams, the head designer. Then there was his younger sister, Dira. She had a clothing line called Dira Nicole. We went out to Phoenix and shot in the desert and in the junkyard and things like that in Arizona. There's Tie Square Fashion. That was a recent one. They have all these creative ties. You know, you should actually really check them out. ti2fashion.com. There's all these creative ties. They zip up their leather. They've got color backings. They've got 3-piece ties. I mean, they're definitely not your father's tie, as they say. And then I've also worked with Charles Gregory, who is a celebrity stylist in Atlanta who does a lot of the hairstyle work for Tyler Perry's movies and his TV shows. He had a makeup academy in Atlanta, so I was the resident photographer for the final projects. And then that's about all that I really want to name right now.
Okay. And so as far as some of those recent ones, how do you come across, or how do they find you now?
Most of the times I am reached through either someone that knows someone, or people come straight to my site, joellester.com. Okay. And they just reach out to me with what their specs and what they're looking for. And sometimes they catch me totally off guard. I've had a consistent type of clientele for a good portion of my career, and then last year I got contacted by Eric Luthart, who was a neurosurgeon at WashU, and he wanted headshots for a book that he was going to release, and he released it just this year, actually. And that caught me off guard because, you know, I didn't have a lot of author or headshot type photos posted on my site. So for someone to come to me asking for that type of photo, especially for a book and promo kit, it was kind of, you know, a little bit shocking to me. So, and then when I did the photos for William Gass, an author that, the author of the book Middle C. Oh my goodness gracious, I can't remember the name of the magazine. It's gonna hit me in my head, but they're out.
We'll put it in the description.
Okay, yeah, they're out of LA. Right. They contacted me just out of the blue, and because of a lot of my makeup and beauty work that I've done, I get a lot of celebrity hairstylists, especially when I was in Atlanta, outside of Charles, trying to, you know, get their work so they can put them into the hair magazines and things like that.
So would you say that you are more of a beauty photographer now, or I know, you know, back when we were young men, you know, we both did a lot of fashion-driven work, but I think we've both been doing a lot of beauty work in the past couple of years at least. Would you say that that's kind of your main thing now, or?
Beauty it's kind of my main thing, but I don't want to call it my main thing because more so now than ever, I'm trying to branch out into more of the sporting arena, and not sporting events, but the advertising aspect of sports. I want to get a lot more athletes in to, you know, try to put together my athletic portfolio, or at least more sporting lifestyle type photos. Right. I want to move to a more lifestyle approach to my commercial photography. Beauty is kind of my bread and butter because that's what I'm known for.
Right.
But it's I want to move towards the advertising and the commercial, the lifestyle style of advertising photography.
Okay. And you mentioned that you spent some time in Atlanta and you've come back. Well, you're back here in St. Louis now. A lot has changed, I would imagine, since you first started, at least, or since we first known each other. As far as your photography goes and just your life goes, you have children now. You have a whole family, a wife, and all of that. And so, how has that changed the way you approach things, or just your photography in general?
It's changed because now I am a little bit more selective with the jobs that I take on.
Okay.
Before I would take on a lot of frivolous jobs just to keep myself engaged, but now with my family, my drive and my motivation is always there. It's just refocused.
I know the kind of job you're talking about.
Right. I don't, so so I don't do a lot of trade portfolio building stuff that I used to do, except for within my close knit team of people, which of course is Tara Lowry, the makeup artist, and Mario Clay, the wardrobe stylist, and between one of 3 hairstylists. So, I've actually been a lot more focused lately on the web design aspect of my skill set.
Okay.
Just because it's one of the things that it doesn't matter what time of day it is, I don't have to find a babysitter because I can be up late at night doing, working on somebody's website.
Right.
Or doing graphic design. Yeah, like the new Jerren Kitty.com.
Which I haven't announced. I haven't put it out there yet. I was having some internet connection speed issues. I was getting 10 megabytes per second, and I was wondering what's going on. The site was loading so slowly, and got that worked out. So I'm back up to 30, and and so man, the website looks great, and so now for me, when I first started, and I'm not gonna get into my story too much, but I wanted to do web design, and I wanted to put pictures on my website. I wanted to use my own pictures. I had learned early